God, we have made it to the quiet edge of this day, and we want to come near now together. We are not here to impress you. We are here because our minds have been loud and tired all day. As we settle in, we ask you to meet us in the real thoughts we cannot stop replaying tonight, Lord. We admit our anxiety has followed us from moment to moment, and it still wants our attention right now too. We have tried to push it down, to outrun it, to distract ourselves, but it keeps returning in waves again. So we bring it to you, not as a theory, but as what we are carrying in our chests quietly. We feel the worry about what we said, what we did not say, and what might happen next to us. We keep thinking about tomorrow, and our hearts speed up as if tomorrow is already here in this room now. We notice the questions stacking up, and each one feels like a demand we cannot fully answer by ourselves alone. We confess we have been scanning for danger, for mistakes, for signs that things are about to fall apart soon. Even when nothing is happening, we imagine something is, and we live braced for bad news all over again, God. We are sorry for the ways we have tried to be our own protector, as if you were far away. We do not want to fight this battle alone tonight, and we do not want to pretend we are fine. We bring the parts of today that embarrassed us, the moments that hurt, and the conflicts we could not fix. We bring the quiet fears we did not say out loud, because we were afraid they would sound foolish too. We bring the bigger fears too, the ones we hide behind jokes, chores, screens, and busy plans every single day. God, you already know what is real in us, and we are grateful that we do not have to perform. We ask you to shine a steady light on our thoughts, not to shame us, but to guide us home. We ask for your patience as we unwind from the day, because our nervousness does not disappear on command tonight. We have been holding ourselves to impossible standards, and we have been scared of failing people we love so much. We have compared ourselves, second-guessed ourselves, and rehearsed conversations, trying to control how we are seen by everyone else. We have worried about money and timing, about grades and deadlines, about health, and what the future holds for us. We have worried about the people we cannot protect, and we have felt helpless when we see them struggle too. We have worried about our own hearts, wondering if we will always feel this on edge and this restless inside. Tonight we are choosing to be honest with you, because honesty is safer than hiding in our thoughts with fear. We ask you to help us name what we can control and what we cannot, without panic or denial today. We need your presence to be more real to us than the headlines, the rumors, and the worst stories imaginable. We have been trying to predict every outcome, and it has worn us down and stolen our joy from today. We confess we confuse planning with control, and we confuse caution with wisdom, and it keeps feeding worry in us. God, we remember that you are not startled by our anxiety, and you are not disappointed by our weakness either. You have carried people through nights like this before, and you have stayed faithful when they could not sleep at. So we ask you to do that for us now, and we ask for the grace to receive it fully. We ask for a simple sense that you are here, listening, caring, and not rushing us through this moment, Lord. We do not want quick fixes. We want steady trust, the kind that grows one quiet step at a time. Help us bring our racing thoughts back to you when they wander, and help us not punish ourselves for wandering. We ask for forgiveness where we have snapped, shut down, or blamed others because our anxiety felt unbearable to us. We also ask for mercy on ourselves because we have been doing the best we knew with what we had. God, we hand you the fear of being judged, and we ask you to remind us whose voice matters most. We hand you the fear of disappointing our families, our friends, our teachers, our bosses, and even ourselves tonight, God. We hand you the fear that we will not measure up, and we ask you to speak truth over us. When our thoughts say everything depends on us, Remind us that you are God and we are not at all. When our thoughts say we are alone, remind us that you never leave, even when we feel nothing inside us. When our thoughts say disaster remind us that you hold tomorrow, and you can open doors we cannot see. We are asking for a different kind of strength tonight, not the tense kind, but the trusting kind from you. We believe you can take what feels tangled and make it clearer one piece at a time in your way. We believe you can hold what we cannot solve tonight, and we can still rest without abandoning responsibility completely, Lord. Teach us the difference between caring and carrying, because we keep trying to carry what belongs in your hands alone. We are not refusing to act, we are refusing to panic, and we are asking you to lead us gently. We ask you to help us release the endless replay of mistakes and to learn what we can, then stop. We ask you to replace shame with repair and fear with wisdom and tension with steady hope for our souls. God, as we begin this prayer, we are setting down the idea that we must fix everything tonight by ourselves. We invite you into the spaces where anxiety has been talking the loudest, and we ask you to speak louder. We take a slow breath and remember your name, and we remember that you are kind and close to us. We ask you to start quieting the noise in us, not by force, but by your steady love right now. We place this night in your care, and we ask you to take control where we have been grasping hard. And as we keep praying, help us believe that letting go is not giving up, but giving it to you. Because giving it to you is the only way we can stop being crushed by what was never meant to sit on our shoulders. So we come closer and we open our hands in our hearts, even if it feels awkward at first. We admit we like the feeling of control because it makes us feel safer, but it has also made us tired. We have been acting like if we think hard enough, plan enough, worry enough, we can prevent pain. But the truth is, our worrying has not protected us the way we hoped it would. It has only kept us on alert, kept us tense, kept us stuck in our heads. Tonight, God, we want to practice a different way. We want to place what we cannot control into your hands, one worry at a time without rushing. We are not trying to be dramatic. We are trying to be honest and specific with you. We bring you the worries about our families. We think about the people we love and the things we cannot fix for them. We worry about arguments that keep repeating, about silence that feels heavy, about distance we do not know how to bridge. We worry about parents and guardians, about siblings, about grandparents, about the ones who seem strong but are carrying a lot. We worry about the ones who are sick, the ones who are stressed, the ones who are lonely. We worry about what happens behind closed doors that we cannot see, and what happens in hearts we cannot read. God, we place them in your care. We ask you to be near to them in ways we cannot be. We ask you to guide us in what is ours to do, and to help us release what is not ours to carry. We bring you our worries about school and work, and the pressure to keep up. We worry about deadlines, tests, projects, performance, expectations, and the fear of falling behind. We worry about the future, about what path to choose, what doors will open, what doors will close. We worry about making one wrong decision and thinking it will ruin everything. We worry about our reputation, about being misunderstood, about being labeled, about being compared. We worry about whether we belong, whether we are enough, whether we will find our place. God, we hand you the weight of needing to prove ourselves. Give us steady focus for what is in front of us and the humility to do one step at a time. Teach us that our worth is not measured by a score, a title, a rank, a paycheck, or a compliment. Help us work with integrity, but help us stop worshiping outcomes like they are our savior. We bring you worries about money and resources, even if we rarely say it out loud. Some of us feel guilty needing help. Some of us feel afraid to ask questions. Some of us feel pressure to carry adult concerns before we are ready. Some of us fear that there will not be enough, that one emergency will undo everything. God, you see every bill, every need, every gap, every hard choice. We ask you for provision, but also for wisdom, patience, and creative solutions we have not considered. Help us to be responsible with what we have, but not terrified as if you cannot provide. Give us peace in the waiting and courage in the decisions. We bring you our worries about relationships. We worry about being left out, forgotten, rejected, or replaced. We worry about friendships that feel shaky, about trust that has been broken, about words we cannot take back. We worry about the people we miss and the people we cannot reach anymore. We worry about love, about whether it will be safe, about whether it will last, about whether we will be hurt again. God, we ask you to guard our hearts without hardening us. Teach us how to be honest and kind, how to set boundaries without guilt, how to forgive without pretending. Help us to stop replaying every message, every silence, every look, trying to decode what others mean. Give us the courage to communicate clearly when we need to, and the freedom to rest when we have done what we can. We bring you our worries about our health, our bodies, our minds, our emotions. We worry about symptoms we do not understand, about appointments, about waiting for answers. We worry about panic rising unexpectedly, about nights that feel long, about mornings that feel heavy. We worry about whether something is wrong with us, whether we will ever feel normal, whether we are falling apart. God, meet us here with compassion. Help us take wise steps and accept support without shame. Give us endurance for processes that take time and comfort when we feel scared. We ask you for healing where healing is needed, and for steady care where healing is gradual. We also bring you the quieter worries, the ones that do not have a clear category. The fear that we are behind, the fear that we missed our chance, the fear that our best is not enough, the fear that we will be exposed, the fear that we will disappoint you. God, we place these fears before you because you already see them anyway, and we ask you to replace them with the truth of your love. Tonight, we confess how often we confuse responsibility with control. We think if we hold everything tightly, nothing will slip. But we cannot hold everything tightly without crushing ourselves. So teach us surrender that is practical, not fake. Teach us to do what we can do in the daylight and to trust you with what belongs to the night. Teach us to prepare without obsessing, to care without spiraling, to plan without pretending we are in charge of every outcome. God, we give you the need to know every answer right now. We give you the need to resolve every conversation tonight. We give you the need to be certain before we take a step. We give you the need to keep checking, keep monitoring, keep rethinking, keep rehashing. We give you the urge to punish ourselves with what if until we feel numb. We ask you to help us step out of that loop. We are not asking to become careless. We are asking to become held. We are asking to become guided instead of driven. We are asking to become steady instead of frantic. We are asking for the kind of trust that makes room for sleep. God, when anxiety tells us, if we stop thinking about it, we will lose control, remind us that we were never in full control to begin with. And remind us that your control is not harsh or unpredictable. Your care is not reckless. Your leadership is not cruel. You are not looking for a reason to drop us. You are not waiting for us to fail so you can step away. You are patient and you are attentive and you are present. So we choose, as best as we can right now, to put the steering wheel back in your hands. We may still feel afraid, but we are choosing trust alongside the fear. We may still have questions, but we are choosing to stop demanding immediate certainty. We may still have problems to solve, but we are choosing to solve them with you, not against you. And God, as we keep releasing these burdens, we ask you to show us what true safety looks like. Not the kind that comes from controlling every detail, but the kind that comes from being cared for by you. Because true safety is knowing you are with us, even when our thoughts keep trying to run ahead. So now, God, we bring our minds to you, because this is where the anxiety usually gets the loudest. Our thoughts can feel like they are moving faster than our lives can keep up with. We can go from one small concern to a full disaster story in seconds, and then we live inside that story as if it is already true. We can replay the past like a movie we cannot shut off, and we can imagine the future like a threat we have to outrun. Tonight, we are asking you to step into that space with us. We are asking you to guard our minds not with harsh force, but with your steady truth and quiet authority. God, we confess that we often treat our thoughts like they are facts. If we think something, we assume it must mean something. If a fear appears, we assume it is a warning we have to obey. If we picture an outcome, we assume it is a prophecy. But you know the difference between a thought and reality. You know the difference between a feeling and the truth. So we ask you to help us slow down inside, to notice what is happening in our minds without becoming trapped by it. When anxious thoughts show up, help us remember we do not have to follow every one of them to the end. We ask you to interrupt the spiral when it begins. When our mind starts to say, "What if this goes wrong and then that goes wrong and then everything falls apart?" we ask you to gently stop that chain. When our mind tries to solve problems at midnight that should be handled in daylight, help us recognize that timing matters. When our mind begins to rehearse how we will defend ourselves, explain ourselves, prove ourselves, help us to rest in the fact that you are our defender. When our mind begins to accuse us, to call us weak, to call us a mess, to call us a burden, we ask you to speak louder than that voice. God, we ask you to guard our imagination too. Anxiety uses imagination like a weapon. It paints pictures of humiliation, loss, rejection, danger, and regret. It takes a tiny possibility and makes it feel inevitable. We ask you to protect us from living in made-up futures. We ask you to keep us rooted in what is true right now, that you are here, that we are not alone, that we are breathing, that this night is held by you. Help us release the urge to time travel mentally. Help us stay with you in this moment, because you promise to give grace for today, not for every imagined tomorrow at once. God, we also bring you the way anxiety makes us doubt ourselves. Sometimes our minds tell us we cannot handle anything. Sometimes our minds tell us we are behind everyone else. Sometimes our minds tell us we will never change. Sometimes our minds tell us we are too much for people, too needy, too intense, too complicated. We ask you to challenge those lies with your truth. Remind us that we are growing, that we are learning, that we are allowed to take time. Remind us that we are not defined by our worst moment. Remind us that we are not stuck forever. Remind us that you do not look at us with disgust or impatience. You look at us with care. God, we ask for wisdom in our thinking, not the kind that overthinks everything, but the kind that sees clearly. Give us perspective. Help us tell the difference between what matters and what is noise. Help us notice when we are catastrophizing. Help us notice when we are mind-reading, assuming we know what others think about us. Help us notice when we are taking responsibility for things that are not ours. Help us notice when we are trying to control people with our worry, even if we would never say it that way. Bring gentle clarity to our minds so we can be honest without being harsh and responsible without being consumed. We ask you to renew our minds with truth that is simple enough to hold on to in the dark. When we feel overwhelmed, help us remember, you are faithful, you are close, you are wise, you are good. You are not late, you are not confused, you are not fragile, you do not panic. You do not change your mind about loving us. When anxiety says this is the end, help us remember God is still God. When anxiety says we cannot handle this, help us remember God will help us handle what we face step by step. When anxiety says we are alone, help us remember God is with us and God can send help. God, we also ask you to help us be careful about what we feed our minds. We know that some things stir us up and keep us up. Some conversations, some videos, some scrolling, some arguments in our head, they keep our hearts racing. We are not asking for rules tonight. We are asking for wisdom. Show us what we need to turn down. Show us what we need to step away from. Show us what we need to stop revisiting. Help us choose peace on purpose, not as avoidance, but as trust. Help us choose what builds faith instead of what builds fear. And God, in the middle of this, we ask for a particular kind of peace, the kind that does not depend on everything being perfect. We are not asking for a life where nothing ever goes wrong. We are asking for a mind that can stay anchored in you, even when things are uncertain. We ask for steady thoughts. We ask for calm decisions. We ask for the ability to pause before we react. We ask for the ability to respond with wisdom instead of panic. We ask for the ability to rest without feeling guilty. God, we bring you the thoughts that keep repeating, the unfinished conversation, the mistake we keep replaying, the worry we keep checking, the fear we keep poking as if it will finally stop being scary. We ask you to help us let those thoughts pass without grabbing them again. We ask you to help us say, God, you have this, and mean it a little more each time. We ask you to help us trust that you can work while we sleep. We ask you to help us trust that rest is not irresponsible. Rest is one way we admit we are not God. We also ask you to protect us from shame. Shame and anxiety team up. Shame tells us we should not feel this way, that we should be stronger by now, that we should have figured it out. Shame tells us that needing help makes us weak. God, we reject that lie. We choose to believe that needing you is normal. We choose to believe that asking for help is wise. We choose to believe that you do not despise us for struggling. You invite us closer. So tonight, God, we give you permission to lead our thoughts. We ask you to remind us of what is true. We ask you to bring scripture, memories of your faithfulness, and quiet reassurance to mind when our thoughts start to drift into fear. We ask you to help us hold on to one simple truth at a time, like a handrail in the dark. We ask you to guard our dreams too, and to keep our sleep from being dominated by worry. Let this night be a place where our minds learn, even a little, that peace is possible. And as we keep praying, we choose to return again and again to this. You are God and you are with us. And that is enough to begin settling the storm in our minds. And God, as our minds begin to learn that peace is possible, we bring you our emotions too, because anxiety does not stay in just one place inside us. It spills into how we feel, how we react, how we move through the day, and how we face the quiet at night. Sometimes our feelings feel bigger than the situation in front of us, and we do not always understand why. Sometimes we feel irritated and then guilty. Sometimes we feel numb and then worried that numb means something is wrong. Sometimes we feel on the edge of tears and we cannot explain it. Tonight, we bring all of that to you without pretending we have it neatly organized. God, we admit that anxiety can make us feel embarrassed about ourselves. We wonder why we cannot just calm down. We wonder why we care so much. We wonder why the smallest things can tip us over. We can start judging ourselves for having feelings at all, like our emotions are proof we are failing. But you made us human. You know how we are formed. You know how we carry stress. You know how experiences shape us. So we ask you to meet us with kindness, not with pressure. Help us stop treating our emotions like enemies. Help us see them as signals that we need care, truth, and closeness with you. Tonight, God, we bring you the heaviness some of us feel. The kind of heaviness that makes everything feel like effort. The kind of heaviness that makes us wonder if we are falling behind. The kind of heaviness that makes us dread the next conversation, the next obligation, the next expectation. We ask you to sit with us in that heaviness. We ask you to remind us we are not alone in it. We ask you to help us take life in smaller pieces when it feels too big. Give us enough strength for what is ours, and let the rest remain with you. We also bring you the restlessness some of us feel. Even when things are quiet, we can feel unsettled inside. We can feel like something is about to happen. We can feel like we should be doing something, fixing something, checking something. We ask you to calm that inner urgency. We ask you to teach our hearts that it is safe to pause. We ask you to help us believe that we do not have to earn rest. We do not have to be perfect to be allowed peace. We do not have to complete every task to be held by you. God, we bring you the fear that rises quickly, the fear that makes us assume the worst, the fear that tells us we are not safe, the fear that makes our confidence shrink, the fear that makes us want to avoid people, avoid decisions, avoid risk, avoid honesty. We ask you to be our safety. We ask you to be our courage. We ask you to guide us gently out of hiding places that keep us stuck. And when we truly need protection, give us wisdom to seek the right help and take the right steps. We are not asking to ignore danger. We are asking to stop living in constant alarm. We bring you the sadness that sometimes hides underneath anxiety. Sometimes worry is a cover for grief. Sometimes we are anxious because we have lost something, or because life has changed, or because we miss how things used to be, or because we feel disappointed and we do not know what to do with it. God, we give you permission to be close to our grief. We ask you to comfort us in the places we rarely talk about. We ask you to help us process what we have been holding in. We ask you to remind us that tears are not failure, and feeling deeply is not weakness. Be gentle with us as we heal. We also bring you the frustration. Anxiety can make us short-tempered, impatient, and quick to assume people are against us. We can feel like everything is too much. We can feel like one more request will break us. God, we do not want to take our stress out on others. Forgive us for the times we have been sharp when we were scared. Forgive us for the times we have withdrawn when we needed to communicate. Help us repair what we need to repair. Help us apologize when we should. And help us not drown in guilt when we are learning. Teach us better ways to respond and give us the humility to grow. God, we bring you our tiredness. Not just the tiredness from a long schedule, but the tiredness that comes from being emotionally on guard. The tiredness from trying to keep everyone happy. The tiredness from overthinking. The tiredness from carrying private battles. The tiredness from trying to be strong all the time. We ask you to give us rest that reaches deeper than sleep alone. We ask you to refresh us in our inner life. We ask you to restore what anxiety has drained. We ask you to rebuild trust where we have been worn down. And God, we ask you to help us feel safe with you tonight. Some of us have learned to be cautious even in prayer. Some of us worry we will say it wrong. Some of us worry you are tired of hearing the same fears. Some of us worry you are disappointed in how long this has taken. But your love is not fragile. Your patience is not limited like ours. You do not roll your eyes at us. You do not keep a scorecard of our struggles. You invite us to come again and again. So we come again and we ask you to hold us steady in your care. God, we ask for peace in our emotions, not perfection. We are not asking to never feel anxious again. We are asking for anxiety to stop being the boss of us. We are asking for the ability to feel something without being ruled by it. We are asking for the ability to have a hard day without believing the whole future is ruined. We are asking for emotional steadiness that grows over time. Give us patience with the process. Give us courage to keep showing up. Give us hope when progress feels slow. We also ask you to help us accept support. Anxiety can make us isolate. It can make us feel like a burden. It can make us believe nobody would understand. But you often care for us through people, so give us wisdom about who to talk to and when. Give us courage to ask for help when we need it. Help us not to hide behind "we're fine" when we are not. Help us build honest connections that make life lighter, not heavier. And when we cannot find the right words, help us start simple and still be real. God, we ask you to guide us in healthy choices without turning it into self-criticism. Help us notice what helps and what hurts. Help us choose what brings life. Help us make room for quiet, for prayer, for good relationships, for wise routines, for the things that steady us. And when we slip, when we fall back into old patterns, help us return without shame. Teach us that growth is not a straight line, and your love does not depend on our perfect consistency. Tonight we place our emotional world under your care. We give you the highs and lows. We give you the mood swings. We give you the sensitivity. We give you the numbness. We give you the sadness and the anger and the fear. We give you the parts of us we do not understand yet. And we ask you to cover us with your peace, the peace that is not fake, the peace that is not forced, the peace that comes from being held by a faithful God. And as we keep praying into the rest of this night, help us believe that we are safe enough to rest, safe enough to stop trying to manage everything, safe enough to let you be God over every part of us, safe enough to let you be God over every part of us, including what tomorrow brings. God, tomorrow feels like a big word sometimes. It can feel like a hallway full of doors we do not want to open. It can feel like a list we cannot finish. It can feel like a test we are not ready for. It can feel like another round of the same problems. Tonight, we do not want to drag tomorrow into our bed and try to solve it in the dark. So we bring tomorrow to you, the way it is with all its unknowns, and we ask you to carry what we cannot. We confess, God, that we want guarantees. We want to know how things will turn out before we take the next step. We want to know that we will not be embarrassed, that we will not be rejected, that we will not fail, that we will not be hurt. We want to know that the people we love will be okay. We want to know that our efforts will pay off. We want to know that our prayers will be answered the way we hope. But we do not get to see the whole road, and that makes us scared. So tonight we ask you for a different gift, trust that does not need full visibility. God, we surrender outcomes. We surrender the need to control how people respond to us. We surrender the need to control how quickly things change. We surrender the need to control timing. We surrender the need to control every detail of plans that involve other people, other systems, other decisions. We surrender the need to control what is not ours. We admit we have been gripping tightly because we were afraid that if we let go, everything would fall apart. But we are learning that letting go is not the same as abandoning responsibility. It is placing responsibility where it belongs. So God, we place tomorrow's conversations in your hands. The ones we are nervous about, the ones we have been rehearsing, the ones we have been avoiding, the ones where we need courage to tell the truth, the ones where we need patience to listen, the ones where we need humility to admit we were wrong, the ones where we need wisdom to stay calm. We ask you to go ahead of us. We ask you to help us speak clearly and kindly. We ask you to help us not overreact. We ask you to help us not shut down. We ask you to help us choose peace without pretending everything is fine. We place tomorrow's responsibilities in your hands. The tasks, the assignments, the work shifts, the chores, the decisions, the deadlines. We ask you to help us do what is ours without panic. Help us focus on one thing at a time. Help us start where we are, not where we think we should be. Help us ask for help when we need it. Help us manage time wisely. Help us show up with integrity. And when we cannot do everything, help us accept limits without shame. Teach us that being human is not a problem to solve. It is a reality to live with grace. We place tomorrow's uncertainties in your hands. The unknown answers, the waiting, the things we cannot predict, the doors we do not know will open, the outcomes we cannot force, the decisions other people will make, the changes we did not choose, the news we might receive. God, we ask you to hold all of that. We ask you to give us courage for what comes and peace for what does not come. We ask you to remind us that you are already in tomorrow and you are already prepared. Nothing that surprises us surprises you. God, we also surrender the pressure we put on ourselves to get everything right. We can be so hard on ourselves. We can treat mistakes like disasters. We can treat learning like failure. We can treat growth like it should happen overnight. We ask you to soften us toward ourselves. Help us be responsible without being cruel. Help us take correction without collapse. Help us learn without spiraling. Help us keep moving forward even when we feel nervous. Remind us that you guide us, not by shaming us, but by leading us. We surrender the outcomes we are tempted to obsess over: grades, results, acceptance, approval, performance, success. We confess how easily we attach our identity to what we achieve. And then anxiety starts running the show, because if our worth depends on an outcome, everything feels life or death. God, free us from that trap. Help us remember our worth is anchored in your love, not in our wins. Help us pursue excellence without worshiping it. Help us work hard without losing our peace. Help us care without being consumed. God, we place our loved ones in your hands again, especially as we think about tomorrow. We cannot control them. We cannot live their lives for them. We cannot protect them from every pain. We cannot make their choices for them. We can love them, pray for them, show up for them, and set healthy boundaries, and then we must trust you. So we trust you with their safety. We trust you with their decisions. We trust you with their healing. We trust you with their future. Help us love well without trying to become their savior. We also surrender the fear of failure. Some of us are carrying a quiet dread that we will not be able to handle what is coming. God, remind us that we do not need tomorrow's strength tonight. We need tonight's grace tonight. We ask you to meet us when we wake. Give us fresh mercy in the morning. Give us the right help at the right time. Give us wisdom to take the next step, not every step. And when we feel small, remind us that you are not asking us to be big, you are asking us to stay close. God, we surrender the fear of being misunderstood, the fear of being judged, the fear of being rejected. We do not want to live controlled by other people's opinions. Teach us to live from your approval, not from the shifting moods of others. Help us be honest and respectful, but not trapped. Help us remember that we can be faithful even when others do not understand. Help us let you define us. Tonight, as we hand you tomorrow, we also hand you our need to keep checking. We hand you our urge to keep replanning. We hand you our need to keep rereading messages, rethinking choices, and replaying scenes. We ask you to help us stop for the night. Help us trust that you can work without our constant monitoring. Help us trust that sleep is an act of faith. We are not giving up. We are giving in to your care. So, God, we say it simply. Take control of what we cannot control. Lead us where we do not know the way. Provide what we cannot provide. Heal what we cannot heal. Fix what we cannot fix. Give us courage where we feel weak. Give us peace where we feel restless. And give us rest now, because tomorrow will come either way, and we want to meet it with you instead of meeting it with fear. Instead of meeting it with fear, we want to meet it with you. And right now, God, we ask you to cover us through this night. We are about to stop talking and try to sleep, but we do not want to step into the dark alone with our thoughts. So we ask for your protection, your comfort, and your steady presence while we rest. We ask you to watch over our home and everyone inside it. We ask you to guard the spaces where we sleep. We ask you to keep us safe from harm and to give us a sense of security that anxiety cannot take away. God, we know that nighttime can be when worries get louder, The day has distractions, but the night has quiet, and our minds can fill the quiet with fear. So we ask you to fill this quiet with your peace. When anxious thoughts try to climb back in, help us recognize them and return them to you. When our minds try to start problem solving again, remind us that this is not the time. When our hearts start to race with what if, help us answer with God is here. We do not want to wrestle all night, we want to rest. God, we ask you to guard our sleep. Some of us have trouble falling asleep because we feel on edge. Some of us fall asleep but wake up suddenly, startled by fear we cannot explain. Some of us have dreams that leave us uneasy. Some of us wake early with a rush of worry. We ask you to bring calm to our nights. We ask you to give us uninterrupted rest when possible, and gentle comfort when we do wake. Help us not to panic if we wake up. Help us not to spiral. Help us remember that even awake at odd hours, we are still held by you. We ask you to guard our minds from spiraling into shame tonight. Anxiety can whisper, "Why are we like this?" It can mock us for needing comfort. It can accuse us for not being able to control our thoughts. God, silence that voice. Replace it with your kindness. When we feel weak, remind us that you do not despise weakness. When we feel overwhelmed, remind us that you are not overwhelmed. When we feel like we should have it together, remind us that we are allowed to come to you exactly as we are. God, we ask you to renew our faith in quiet ways tonight, not with big emotions we have to force, but with steady trust that grows in the dark. We ask you to strengthen the part of us that chooses you even when we still feel anxious. Help us remember moments when you have carried us before. Help us remember times when things worked out in ways we could not see coming. Help us remember that your faithfulness has a history in our lives. And if tonight we cannot remember well, then remind us. Bring those memories back gently, like a friend returning to sit with us. We ask you to protect us from fear that feels spiritual as well as emotional. Sometimes anxiety makes everything feel threatening, like we are under attack from every side. God, we ask for your covering over our hearts and minds. We ask that anything that feeds fear, confusion, despair, or hopelessness would have no power over us tonight. Give us peace that is deeper than mood. Give us confidence that you are greater than what scares us. We belong to you, and we ask you to keep us close. God, we also ask for protection over our loved ones while we sleep. We cannot be everywhere. We cannot solve every problem. We cannot keep watch over everyone we care about. But you can. So we place them in your hands again. Family, friends, classmates, co-workers, neighbors, and anyone you have put on our hearts tonight. Guard them, comfort them, guide them, provide for them, heal them. And if they are anxious too, meet them with the same gentle peace we are asking for ourselves. We ask you to help us release the urge to check everything one more time, the urge to make sure everything is okay, the urge to scroll, to search, to read, to worry, to stay busy. God, give us the ability to stop. Give us the courage to trust you with what we cannot verify tonight. Help us understand that nothing is gained by staying tense. Help us accept that rest is not laziness. Rest is wisdom. Rest is obedience. Rest is humility. Rest is faith. God, if we have regrets from today, we place them in your hands. The words we wish we could take back, the things we forgot, the moments we felt like we failed. We ask for forgiveness where we need forgiveness. We ask for cleansing from guilt that is not meant to stick. We ask for wisdom to make things right where we can, tomorrow or soon. And for everything we cannot fix, we ask you to cover it with mercy. Help us stop punishing ourselves tonight. Help us stop rehearing what we should have done. Teach us to learn what is needed and then let it go. We ask you to give us a sense of safety that is not fragile. Not the kind that disappears the moment we feel a little fear, but the kind that holds even when fear shows up. God, let your peace become the foundation under us. Let it be steady enough that our anxious thoughts have less space to take over. Help us remember that peace is not something we have to manufacture. Peace is something you give. God, we ask for comfort that feels real. Sometimes people tell us to calm down, but it can feel lonely because it does not address what is actually going on. But you do. You listen. You understand. You stay. So we ask you to be close. We ask you to reassure our hearts. We ask you to remind us that we are loved, that we are guided, that we are not alone, that we are not forgotten. Let your presence be the quiet answer to our fear. And God, as the night moves on, we ask that you would keep turning down the volume of anxiety, not by pretending everything is fine, but by reminding us that you are in control, you are wise, you are good, you are near. You are working even when we cannot see it. You are holding what we cannot hold. You are carrying what we cannot carry. You are keeping watch so we do not have to. So we place ourselves in your hands now. We place our thoughts, our feelings, our plans, and our fears in your care. We ask for a protected night, a peaceful mind, and a rested heart. And we ask that when morning comes, we would wake with new mercy, new strength, and a quieter trust than we had when we laid down.